but it is fun to have that outlet as well. And so, of course, last year with COVID, we've all been changing our knowledge of working with the internet and technology more and more. And so last year we did an online version of Handmade Neighborhood, which worked really well. People had some great sales and did really good. And so rather than hosting this artisan sale, we were kind of like the marketing agents for all the artists that were participating and shared their stories and information, and then links to their own websites or ways they want to sell their work to the public. And it worked really well. Everybody did something a little different. And personally, I have been using Square just because of its ease, its price, and just some familiarity with it. We did some research for our own gift shop here at the History Center when we had to change point of sale systems, and we went from Intuit to Square in, oh gosh, I want to say 2013-ish, somewhere in there, 2012 maybe. And it's been really great. I don't work with it as much anymore, but personally, as on the art side of things, it's been really great as somebody who's not very knowledgeable with technology, and a little bit afraid of selling online because it is a little intimidating. Square makes it really easy. I'm going to share those steps tonight with you. But there are other options as well. Some of you may have already looked into or possibly maybe already use, like Etsy, either as a shopper or a seller. That's, internationally known. They've got some amazing marketing, but there's a ton of stuff on there from a ton of people, so it's easy to get lost. But probably easier for people to stumble across your goods than your own website. So there's some pluses and minuses for selling with a larger company that manages marketing for themselves, like Etsy or Amazon. However, you do pay for it. They do have more monthly fee rates on top of the per sale rates, as well as a percentage, and it can be complicated for their fees. So probably something great if you're going big time and really are going to sell online a lot and want to farm out some of that marketing and some of the other behind the scenes work, but you do pay for it. With Square, they make it super easy to do on your own, and also very affordable. So currently there's no fee to have Square on your computer or phone or tablet. It's a free app. And some of you maybe already use it when you do in-person sales. Just kind of raise your hand. Did anybody already have a Square account? Okay, awesome. So the beauty of Square is you, as many of you already know, can use it as a sales system for processing cards in person at a craft show or art sale or at a gallery or what have you. It's very versatile that way, but then it also has a free online option. So you're still not paying extra to host an online store, which is great. Although it's limited, you can't make it exactly what you want, but their templates are pretty easy and nice looking. So it works really well. So we'll look into that in just a few minutes. But their fee is just 2.6% plus 10% per sale. So you're not paying anything up front if you don't have any sales. If you're trying this out for the first time and nothing happens, you're not out anything other than your time. So it's really great. So I do like Square. You should be giving me a commission, but So, with that, there are other options. I just chose Square for all those lovely reasons. To get started, kind of first things first is kind of just get ready. Figure out what you want to put online for sale. Depending on what you make, you might have some one-of-a-kind items. You might have something that you can quickly reproduce or put together per order basis, or you might have like me, I kind of have both. I have some earrings that I can throw together pretty quick in different metals. So I can have, a silver pair of leaf earrings or a bronze or whatever. And then I have some pieces that, I don't always want to just assemble things. The artistic side wants to come out, and a lot of pieces are on a whim as well. And so sometimes I have some one of a kind pieces. So you want to be careful if you're doing a lot of shows and hosting an online site that you're not overselling a one of a kind piece. So a lot of times what I will do is pull inventory aside that I have on my website and keep that separate. And then I've got my inventory that goes in a gift shop or to a fair or a show or a gallery or what have you. You could do both, but just be careful about overselling something, where somebody could buy it online while you're at a show and it's gone, and it's a good thing to avoid. So that can be a little bit of a challenge. Right now, I don't even have my online store accepting sales because I am getting ready for Handmade Neighborhood, and I just don't want to deal with that on top of Handmade Neighborhood and working full time. So it's easy to turn it on and off too, which is really great. So we're gonna go look at some of that. So after you've decided what you want to sell, the next step is really taking pictures of it, and nice pictures of it. So I would highly recommend attending Mary Farrell's session on photographing art. Definitely goes with this one really well. And so you can get really fancy and have a light box and a nice camera and tripod and a really great setup. Personally, I just did it with my phone on a chair in the middle of a room under a light, which worked really well. So it worked for me. So it's kind of just whatever you're comfortable with. Some people do farm it out and hire a photographer to take pictures of their work. Pictures are important. You want, we all shop online, especially these days in some capacity. And, if we buy it or not, is really, we're not handling it, we're not seeing it in person. So really being able to visualize that item through an imagery is how you're making a sale. Of course, descriptions help as well, and can be kind of tricky as well. So before even you get started, maybe look around on other websites, even Target, even the big guys, and look at how people write descriptions. What would you look for? Say you have scarves for sale. How long is the scarf? What is the stitch pattern? What are the colors? What is the yarn made out of? Is it wool? Is it a blend? All those details that you might not think of presenting when you're in person, because you can answer those questions when you're making an in-person sale. So kind of think of all those questions that you might get at a regular sale and make sure those are in your description. So somebody's like, oh, okay. Because if they don't have enough information, they might not take the risk of buying it online and then getting it and like, oof, maybe I didn't want this. So, like for me, it's a little challenging. You can also figure out if you want to do a listing per item, if you have some one of a kind things, or if you can make the same thing, like a pair of earrings, but maybe in different metal styles or colors or what have you. There is an option in Square that you can add modifiers. So you have one listing for a pair of leaf earrings, but then the customer can choose to have them in copper or bronze or silver or what have you. So that's an option. I don't do that because I don't do a lot of just mass production stuff. I do a lot of more one of a kind. I do make multiples, but not a ton of them. So I just list each thing. If you take a picture of something and you have multiples of it, make sure all your multiples are exactly the same. I keep using my earrings for an example. I might have a different ear wire, so how it attaches into your ear might be different on one pair, but I have the same leaf on it. I don't want to put a picture up and have a listing for that pair of earrings and then send them one that has like a hinged back ear wire when the picture shows like a shepherd's hook ear wire. Um, then they're not getting what they bought. So you want to be really aware of all those details when you're choosing what you're putting up and what you're taking pictures of and what you're listing. So kind of make a list beforehand, take those pictures. I have typed up, I've done it both ways, where I've done it as I enter in items, and I've also have made a list like in Word of what I'm planning to put online, so then I can cut and paste and just enter items quicker. And just work on my list as I have time, and then sit down and just update the website all at once. So there's various ways you can do that, but just be prepared with good images and good descriptions of the actual things that the buyer is going to get. So, unless you can recreate it exactly what the picture and the description show on the website. All right, so I'm going to share my screen, but before I do, does anybody have any questions with prep or choosing a platform? Okay, all right, so I'm going to go into my site. So I logged into Square. So can you nod up and down if you can see my dashboard for Square? Yep. Okay, great. So I logged in. So those of you who already have an account, you're good. If you don't have an account, it's very easy to sign up for one. You just enter in your personal information, your account, to deposit money through. You'll want to enter in some tax information. So as many, I'm sure all of you, especially if you already use Square, report sales tax. And then obviously if you make enough money annually, you also report that as income tax. Even as a hobby, you have to report all of that, especially if you're using Square, because it does report to the IRS automatically. So if you're signed up, if you run anything through Square, the IRS knows about it. So fair warning with that. So just make sure that you have all of that ready to go before you set up an online store. So personally, when I do my sales tax, when I do a show, I've done it both ways, and I've gone back to just having my sales tax into the price of the item, which you can do online as well. So I just report my total sales for the year in January, for the last year in January, and pay whatever amount that spits back out at me, and I'm done with it. So it's pretty easy. You can set up specific tax percentages as well, because we have, the Minnesota state sales tax, as well as some extra percentages for the county as well to factor in, which I do have factored in on the website. But before all of that, so make sure you're set up with being legal and everything. Have your items all ready to go. Either sign up for a Square account or log into your account that you already have. I haven't done anything since last year, so you see lots of zeros. And then you just go to online. So if you use it a lot, I haven't used it a lot this year, so it's not showing up, but it will have kind of these buttons on the left-hand side. You'll see an online thing. Mine isn't up there very much, but if you go down to the main menu here, you'll see online. So I've got that, so I'm going to click on that. So if you're doing that for the first time, it will prompt you with a bunch of questions. So it'll ask you about what you're going to be selling, and just like 2 or 3 basic questions to help formulate what kind of online store it's going to be. So being a free website and free e-commerce, it's all kind of generated for you. There's not a ton of flexibility, but it works great. And of course the price is right. So after you go through and answer those questions, you can choose if you want just a web page and have all of your wares on there that people can just buy from. And it's just a page to buy off of, which is very simple. I opted to do the full website version, which is still only like 2 or 3 pages for what I have, but that helps you kind of build your brand. You can have a page about yourself, that personal connection helps sales. You can talk a little bit more about history or the inspiration or how you got to where you are as an artist, and you're more about your work and how and why you create what you do, and just kind of build that rapport with customers that you're not going to see face to face. So I opted for the full website version. So when you do that, you get to choose a site name, and I'm doing the free version, so you get Square attached to it. So I just put the name of my jewelry line, and then it automatically goes to square.com, that site. So then you have that link. So I just put that in on Facebook, as you can set up like a shop now button on Facebook. I just put that link to that button, so then when people find Birch Bluff Jewelry on Facebook, they can click shop and it brings them to my website. So I'm going to edit site. So when you get started, this will all be blank, and it's really easy and drag and drop. So when I first did it, I was just kind of blindly clicking around. But they do have some really great online tutorials to go back and kind of see more specifically how to do things. But it's all kind of right here. It's a lot of drag and drop, click on it and edit it. So header, I move my mouse over header, it highlights it in the page editing area there. So I uploaded my logo. So this is how I did that here. So off to the left is kind of where you work. And so you kind of just go through it systematically. So I uploaded an image of my logo. You can change its size, and it's kind of live there and shows you what it looks like. I made it nice and big. You can link it to something. So I have it, when if anybody clicks on it, it links back to the home page. And all that fun stuff. So then when you're done with that part, you can say done, and then you can go main browser. And so then image, I uploaded this image I took. This was just on the seat of a wooden chair. I just stood above it with my phone and took a picture of some of my jewelry that I laid out with a few things woven in. And then it has a headline, so you can choose your font and different options here, and then you just click on it, like the box, say I'm highlighting it, and then you can change it. So you can either have your name of your art or some little saying like I've got, and then I opted to do a button. You can do more text, you can do another button. I have those turned off. So I've got my button slid on for shop now. So then when people are at the website, they can click on that and it takes them to all of my categories. So we're done with that part. And then we move down the home page, and I have text and image, which is right here. We'll click on it to edit it. So again, you can upload a photo, and then when you want to edit text, you just click in the box and you type just like you would type Word, like in Word. So I'll just retype Birch. So it's pretty straightforward. Again, you do whatever you want there. But the layout is fairly set. You can't move this around too much, but it gives you a little bit of flexibility with fonts and sizing and colors and all that good stuff. So, and again, you could add a button and another button to get to certain things or other pages if you want, to have another page about your process or how you make what you make or something like that. So let's see about page. So when you want to add a section, so these are all sections. So this is a section, this is a section, this is a section. Same over here, kind of mirroring that. These are all the sections. So when you want to add another one, and you just click add section, and then you'll get some options for what you want that to be. Do you want to feature an item? Then that'll be a certain template. Want to feature your categories like earrings, necklaces, bracelets. Want donations. If you're hosting a craft class or an event or a painting class, you can add an event. And then as you click on these, they all come up, and then you can edit them. So events, you can add in an image. So you click on that, and create an event. It really walks you through it. It's very intuitive, and just kind of click on what you want and then look over here to edit it. And then as you kind of drag your mouse around, it highlights where that option is on the main field there of what your website looks like. So I'm gonna get rid of this because I don't want any events. So that's kind of your start of your main page. So this would be like your main page. When people go to your website, this is what they'll see. And when I'm done, we'll look at what this looks like, not behind the scenes. And so then when you want to add your stuff, you'll be prompted to add items. But when you're kind of done making stuff, you can always just X out. So this little X up in the left-hand corner, and also it's really nice. It has these little things that pop up that tell you what you do. So it says exit editor. So I'm gonna exit editor. So that kind of brings me back to my website dashboard, I guess you could call it. And so I'm not editing my site now, I'm working on my items. So this is the part that's a little more tedious. So this is behind the scenes. This isn't really editing your website. This is creating an inventory that will then be put onto your website for people to see. So you can play around with your homepage first or later, but it'll kind of prompt you to start there, which is why I did it first. But then you want to add items. So site items. You can import them if you already have items in Square, in your regular Square point of sale account. And so that makes that easy. Otherwise, you can just create new items and sync them. So I have my site items, so I have all my items here. And then down this left-hand side, it says item sync. So I click on that. If you want to sync your inventory in your Square point of sales account to your online store, I just slide these over. And then I always make them unavailable because if I'm entering items in on my actual Square side of this, the point of sale system side, I don't want them to automatically go on my online store. I want to control that. If you want them to, great, then uncheck this and a lot of work is done for you. But I like to make them unavailable and then manually make them appear on my online store later. I would do this differently when I clean it up again after Handmade Neighborhood. I entered a bunch of stuff in the Square point of sale side of it and then linked it over and synced it, and that worked. But then I kind of realized, well, I'm going to change this a lot because I have a lot of one-of-a-kind things, and it's kind of an extra back and forth step because there are some things that you change on the website side that aren't options when you enter an item on your Square point of sale side. And I also personally use Square a little differently. I don't always put in every item just because I have so many different things. that I'm not going to sit there and try and find a certain pair of earrings out of, like 150 pairs of earrings for handmade neighborhood. So I just have the price, and I just use basically kind of like the calculator part of Square when I'm doing a card sale. And so I don't have every single item in it. So it's probably easier if you're doing things that way to just enter them in on the online store side of Square. So there's kind of these two sides. There's your point of sale system, which is, Square point of sale, where we first were logged in, and then we hit online. And so this is your online store side, and they talk to each other, but they're kind of two separate entities, even though they live in the same kind of under the same umbrella of the Square. So I'm just going to create a new item, and if you've done this in Square, this looks very familiar. So it's a physical item. I'm just going to be very simple. So I'm just going to put earrings. You're going to want a little bit more description, describe a little bit in your item title as well, like, copper leaf earrings or something like that. And then your price, I'm just going to say $15. And then your description. So this is where you want to be consistent as well as thorough in what this thing is. Have a fun, whimsical description if you want, but also remember to put in size, color, dimensions of a painting, if it's a painting, materials used, anything that, if you were the buyer, what would you like to know before purchasing this item? So then you can make parts of it bold, italic, maybe you can edit that a little bit. And then visibility. So this sets it into your online store or not. So it automatically says visible. So as soon as you hit save, it's up, it's on your online store. I always either do hidden or unavailable, and then go back and change that when I know I want it up and I'm kind of ready to sell it, sort of thing. And then you can do your fulfillment methods of shipping, pickup, local delivery, all those fun things. And then you do have to set up tax, or you can say it's tax exempt if you're doing clothing, for example, or a food item in Minnesota. And then stock, put in if you have 3 of them, or if it's one of a kind, you put in 1, and then hit update, and it will talk to your Square account as well on the other side for that inventory as well. If you want to do a SKU number, you can. I don't. And then you can do variations. So you could just say color, gold, other things. I'm not going to get too far into that. I don't do that just because you can kind of get into trouble with that if somebody orders something. Oh, I want those pair of earrings, but I want them in silver, but maybe I don't have the materials for that. So I just list each color and each style as its own thing. So I might have, some of the same earrings up as, individual things you can buy, but I might have 3 pairs, but I know they're the same thing. So I don't do kind of on demand, but you could do that. And there's some really great videos through Square to show you how to do some of that. Same with modifiers. Say somebody's, you want to do custom orders online. Somebody wants a certain scarf, but they want it in green. They can order that from you, that sort of thing. And then you put it into a category if you have categories. So instead of having just a bunch of jewelry in a mess online, I have categories of earrings, necklaces, and bracelets. So I would put it in a category, and then that sorts it on the online website. You can get really fancy. I'm not even going to go here because I don't really understand it. But again, if you want to dive into that, there are professional people out there who do build websites who would probably, charge you by the hour, but help you with that. So that might be worth doing. So these are, if people search more with Google for a specific item, then your item might pop up better, that sort of thing. But basically, I just share my link on social media and with already established customers and that sort of thing. So I don't get too crazy with that. And then you just click on this to upload an image of it. Oh, let's see, let me find a pair of my earrings. We'll go to events. I think I got some in my neighborhood. Let's see, we'll be legit and do mine own. Let's just do these. So then add image. And it's that simple. So when I take pictures of my items, I put them onto my computer and just kind of have them all in a file. So then, I know I'm working on these earrings. So I do my description and everything here, and then go find that image of that product and put it on here as a picture. You can do more than one photo if you want to do a really good close-up of a certain detail of something, or if you want to do, somebody wearing it or having it set up in a little display or something, depending on what your item is, or you have options to do more than one photo, which is really great. So let's see. So you can save this. I'm not going to. Exit that, but then I have your category. So I have 32 pairs of earrings, 30 necklaces, and 9 bracelets right now in there as I assigned categories. So you can add categories. So this blue button right up on the top right hand side says add category. All you have to do is click on that. And you can add a category, just answer its questions, and you're good to go with your categories. So you can really do that kind of probably before you start entering items if you're going to do categories. If you're not going to do categories, don't worry about it. If you just want to have all pottery or all paintings and that sort of thing. You can do coupons. Again, it's just add a coupon, fill out the kind of online form information of how you want to do that. It'll spit out a coupon code, or you can make a custom one that you can give out to favorite customers or family, or if you want to offer free shipping or something, you can set all that up using a coupon, but I'm not going to get into that. Same with gift cards. You can do all sorts of other little things, but the 2 most important things that you're going to need to do before hitting the publish button is setting up sales tax and order fulfillment. So like, are you going to ship it? Are you going to deliver it to the person? Are they going to come pick it up? All that fun stuff. So items. So that is, let's see. Sometimes edit, when they do updates, they edit where they put stuff. So sometimes you have to kind of poke around. So under settings, I'm going to go to sales tax. So I have United States, various auto calculated. So you kind of just answer questions and check some boxes. And I put 2 tax locations. So I have my own address because I don't have a store. And then for some reason that's on there as a secondary thing too, probably because I was playing with it and trying to figure it out and ended up with 2, but that doesn't matter. As long as you have where you're selling from, it'll generate the taxes for that area. And then, so you can do different applications for picking up deliveries, self-serve stuff. There's all sorts of options for tax levels, which I don't quite understand. But as long as you pay in your sales tax when you need to based on your sales, which I would imagine all of you already do, you'll be fine. Like I said, I just have, what's really great about Square too is you have your sales from Square point of sale system side and your online store side, they talk to each other. So when you do your year-end report, it has all of your sales together. So you can just report that either when you do your taxes for income tax or to the state for your sales tax pay-in, which you just enter in the total amount of what your sales were anyway, and it kicks back what you owe for taxes. So I found that even when I collect taxes, it doesn't always match. It's within a few dollars of each other, but it's kind of weird. And then let's see, now I gotta find shipping. So you want to obviously be connected to Square. You can also do Apple Pay and Google Pay. I don't, that just complicates things. But with Square, they can just enter any of their credit card numbers when they pay, and you're good to go. It shows up on your Square account, goes to your entered bank account from your Square account, just like you would an in-person sale using Square. So it's pretty slick. All right, now let's see, orders. I gotta find, it used to be right up front here. Where is channel information checkout? Budget. Now, some stuff might have disappeared because I turned my store off. But it shouldn't. There's all sorts of fun stuff you could do with this. And some of you might become way more savvy at it than I am. But you can connect to Facebook, Google, when you search in Google and like stuff pops up of buy from Home Depot or Walmart or whatever, what you're searching for, you can connect even to that. So there's some cool things you can do, but way beyond my abilities. This is just the 101 class. Let's see. So shipping is actually very easy. Go back, see if I can. If I can make it pop up again. Okay. So right now I'm accepting online orders. It's really easy to just switch. Sometimes you get a little save button at the bottom. Sometimes it just automatically does it. So go back. So now I'm accepting orders. So where are my shipping options? Here we go. So store policies, I just did a flat rate per order. So you can type that in, but there's a way to set it. And of course, now they hid it on me. That's also the fun thing about doing online shops is it'll do updates. And so then they change things. So sometimes it's a constant learning curve. It used to be right in here. I don't know where they hid it now. Anyway. Here we go, fulfillment. They changed, they buried it under there. Okay, so we have pickup and delivery, shipping, or self-serve. So you can add all these options. So that was my alarm saying I'm getting close to time. So when you set up shipping, just again, find it over here in your menu of things. Let's do a little digging like I did. Shipping, and then when you hit edit, or enter when you're first setting it up. I put in my home address because that's what I work out of. I don't have a store. You can connect to other carriers. It will automatically connect to Square's own partners. So I didn't really do anything with this. It automatically connects to United States Postal Service, and I guess DHL now is a new one too. you can connect to the other ones, but there might be some fees involved with that and needing accounts with like UPS or FedEx. And so then I just did United States as a default. If I get somebody who wants to buy something from another country, I'll just deal with that on a case by case basis through correspondence, but chances are I won't. So I just, for ease of my own sanity, I just did a flat rate shipping, especially during COVID, because I didn't want to run around to people's houses or have people come to my house to pick things up. With jewelry, that's easy because it's light and it's small. So they could buy a ton of necklaces and weigh me down, and I might be like $1 over or something, not a big deal. For a large painting or a heavy, fragile piece of stained glass or pottery, you might want to weigh everything, and then it'll calculate it based on weighing it. That's a whole nother thing. That could be in a class in itself. So the only kind of drawback for online orders is figuring out shipping. And that could almost, like I said, be a class in itself because there's various ways to do it. I just do a flat rate because it works easy for me. But you can do different settings within this when you choose other ways other than flat rate. So I'm not gonna click on anything, but I just default. But then you can do custom, and then it'll prompt you for weights of certain things. So when people add those items into their cart, it'll add that up. So I'm gonna go back. So when I go to items, I'll just click on this necklace. I have shipping, but I have a flat rate set up. But if I didn't, if you had the weight under that item, if you have a scale at home, you could weigh it and then enter in that shipping rate, and then that'll add up specifically per item. So it's pretty slick, but you do that then back in your per item. So a little more work, a little more tedious, but might be worth it depending on what you're doing. So you can also check pickup, local, you'll take it to them, that sort of thing. And then you can uncheck whatever you don't want as options. So I don't want to be running all over town, so I just have shipping on a flat rate. So hopefully that makes some sense. So those are kind of the basics. So, figuring out what you have, what you want to put online, getting a good description and a good photo of it so people can experience what they're buying and know as much as they can without physically touching it and checking it out. Entering all that information in, and then having your taxes and your shipping set up. So if you sell clothing and don't do taxes, you're great. The taxes are really easy to set up. I can't really show you that without like starting a new account. I've got it already set up. When you're in here brand new, it prompts you really easily. I had no training on this. I didn't even watch a YouTube video. I just went in and kind of started going at it and clicking and figuring it out. And it's very intuitive. And that was another reason why I picked Square, and had a little bit of knowledge about it from, using it on just the Square point of sale side. And that's so intuitive and so easy to use. Their online store side of it is just as easy. So when you're ready to go and your website has everything on it that you want, so you entered in all your items. So then you're ready to add your pages. So up here, this was the home page we were editing earlier. So up here on the far left, you can go to other pages. So add a page. I added shop. So I just have basically 2 pages. And then I have it as I added a section, I added category. And so then my categories came up that I had created on the back side. And so then I put all my necklaces that are available, moved that little bar over for each item that I wanted online. And then so then they would show up in these categories. And then I just have my kind of return policy and that right on the page there too. It's also on there on the checkout. A little plugin for Handmade Neighborhood at the top recently and all that fun stuff. So when you're all ready to go, when you're in editing your page, you got your categories, you're good to go. You hit this little button right here and you say publish. And it published to what I had set up for free. You can, if you own a domain, you can link that. If you want to make a custom domain and pay Square for a custom domain, you can do that as well. So I am all published. So again, to get out of your editor, just this little X, exit editor. And then published now. So anytime you do an update on it, you want to hit that publish button and then that'll update it for everybody else. So to see it after you've got stuff going, just click on that link. So I just clicked on this, it's in blue. And then that shows you what it looks like actually online. So when I'm not editing, this is what I see and what I can do. So I want to go shop. Here's that other page we looked at. So when I was in my items, as I was creating items, when I make them available, they automatically pop up in the category that I had set up. So earrings. So here are all those earrings. So the image and all the information that you put in for that item automatically gets generated. You don't do all of this manually, which can be a little confusing and it's kind of like, I want to control. But so I bounce back and forth a lot to the public side of it. Like, okay, here's the actual website, and here I am editing just to kind of see what it's looking like. Because when you're in your items, I'm over here on the left, site items. This is what tells it to go online. So if it's visible, it'll be there. If it's hidden, it's kind of waiting, like it's there, but you can't buy it. Unavailable, it's like it won't show up at all on the website. So if you're ready to sell it, just make sure visible is blue and you have all your stuff entered in and ready to go. You have a good picture. So my antler and stone necklace is all ready to go. So it's like, okay, let's see where it is. So I'm gonna go to my necklaces category. There's my antler and stone. So all that stuff I put in the create an item just automatically shows up here. So when somebody clicks on it, this is already done. You don't have to re-enter this, re-enter that, re-enter this, re-enter the button. When you create an item, it creates this automatically. So that's really slick. So once you have all these here, and so then your status will also show up in your items on the back side here. So I have some things that are unavailable because I brought them into the museum shop, but everything else I have as available, and that'll show up. Hopefully that made some sense. I know it was a lot in a short amount of time, and it's a little hard to do it virtually and not play off each other and be able to, I find myself as I was talking is pointing to things on my screen and it's like, I can't see that. So hopefully I was trying to be descriptive enough and hopefully you could follow my little cursor around a little bit. But I'm gonna turn this off because I don't wanna have orders come in. So when you do get an order, what'll happen is it'll send an email to your email that you have a Square account on, and it'll say you have an order, and then you can go in and let people know that it's on its way and all that good thing. So it'll automatically send a receipt with all the information on it for when they bought it. And then when you go into orders, so here's some orders, a few orders from last year. And then you just go in here and mark them as fulfilled, shipped, like this will change. So when you hit status, say that you shipped it, or, like Monica and Lori, I knew them. So I just gave them their shipping back and gave them their orders. But, so you can, it's really flexible. And so I put a, link as the first comment in our comment chat box area. That link has everything that I just went through on it step by step and with pictures. It's super helpful. The other really beautiful thing about Square is they have a really good customer service. So you have to have an account first though. So you have to log into your account and then hit help, and then it'll give you customer service code, and then you call a number, enter in your code, and then you get a person, and they're very helpful and will help walk you through things step by step. We've had to do that a few things while merging things for the gift shop here, and they're really great to work with. They also have really great online resources of videos, as well as just kind of these help step-by-step documents like the one that I shared for getting started with a free online store. And then they have more that goes more in depth about that shipping and about those taxes and jumping back and forth between your actual point of sale Square account and the online store management, and all that other fun stuff that I barely touched on tonight. So at least you have an idea of it. It's really less scary than it might seem. As you could see, I am still not 100% comfortable with all the aspects of it. And again, it does change, but then I go in and just kind of look at their tutorials a little bit, or poke around. Like I said, it's very intuitive. So as you drag your mouse around, it kind of tells you what to do. Check boxes, slide those little bars over on or off for certain settings, and let it do its thing. Sometimes it's almost too easy, sort of, it's like you're setting up these couple pages, you have your categories, but then it's like, well, I want to like put my stuff in there. How do I, what's happening? Like, shouldn't I be entering items? But once you have all your items entered in on the backside in your inventory, like I said, and showed that they just automatically show up there on a format where people can buy, and it's all done for you. So the tedious part is actually the prep work, entering all your items in, but actually building the actual online store can take minutes, depending on how elaborate you want your homepage to be and everything else. But the actual store part of it is all automatically generated from all your items that are entered in on the back side. So it's pretty slick. So, and if you have your inventory, it'll also track that. So you can, there's a little area where you can select if it says low inventory, low, out or out of stock. So if something does sell out, people, if you do track the inventory and put an inventory number in, people can't keep buying it if you're out. So say you have 2 pairs of earrings and they both sell out, it'll say out of stock if I had 2 entered into my inventory count. My quantity of 2, once 2 sell, it's then visible but out of stock and they can't buy it. So all of that's automatic and really easy. So it is almost 8 o'clock. So I guess any questions that I may or may not be able to answer?
I have a question, Jennifer.
Sure.
So you use this instead of like a company webpage or your business webpage? You use just the Square point of sale as a webpage?
Right. Yep. Yeah. So for my jewelry, this is what it is. It's just the website version of the free Square online sales site. So it's just a little bit of, about me on that home page. And I could add more pages. I just chose not to. I kept it really simple. You can add like a separate about page. You can have the home page. You can have a how-to page if you want to demo a little technique that you do. You can build it out more than what I had. I just kept it really simple. You can also get really fancy with it. Weebly, if you're familiar with that, they are a very easy to use website hosting company. The Historical Society, I do our website through them. And Square, I think Square bought them. So Square and Weebly talk to each other. So actually Tove Wiggs is on our staff now, and she's going to be helping figure out how to merge kind of our Square point of sale system with our already established Weebly website. And they do talk to each other. It's just a little bit beyond my skill level or time with other hats that I wear for my job. The museum shop is becoming a smaller percentage, but which is great, but she'll have more of that know-how and time to investigate that a little bit. We have a really strong feeling. We just have to like push that button and be brave. So you can be more elaborate. So you can have a professionally developed website through Weebly, and then have Square e-commerce as add-ons to that. And we're working to get there for the Historical Society. We're hoping to do that for like kind of Christmas shopping in the next month or so. So fingers are crossed. But for the jewelry, I just use their free site. And actually the Historical Society is as well right now for like our online memberships and donations. If you've been online to join or renew your membership or make a donation online, it goes to that free website. So like on our Weebly website, on our main professional website, we just have a button, join now, and then that's just linked to that oddball little URL of WCHS museum shop.square.site or whatever. And we just do it that way, because that's what we could do when we first started all of it. And now we just lucked out and chose companies that now bought each other and now talk to each other. So we can streamline it now. We just have to figure out how. It's a lot easier to start from scratch, but you can merge and sync and do all of that. And it might just be a phone call to Square and say, hey, can you walk me through this too? Because they are very helpful and have done that for us here too. So yeah, it's very user friendly, but it's still a little scary. But like I said, it's just click on stuff, see what it does, test it out, especially with the free Square little domain name. It's not like somebody's just going to show up and start buying stuff however while you're playing with it. But if you are not ready to sell yet and you're continuing to play with it, and you keep hitting publish to save it and see what it looks like on the other side, just like how I was doing, just slide off your accepting orders and turn that back on and turn that off. It's super, it took seconds to just turn that on and off. So everything's still there to see, but people, when they click on an item, just says not making sales at this time, please stop back. And it just automatically does that for every item, which is really nice.
This is Teresa. I was wondering, do they advertise your product like
Not
Etsy
at all.
does, or?
No, not at all. It is all you. So they just provide the tools to create an online store, but then it's all you. It's your store. It's your marketing. It's all you then. So, yeah, the price is right. And the flexibility is great. But, at the beginning, I did say too that, it might not be for you if you really want to, if there's value in paying $40 a month plus a whole slew of fees per sale and listing for that national marketing and nationally known brand like Etsy or Amazon, then maybe that's a better way to go too. So there are definitely other options, but if you just want to try it and not risk any of those monthly fees, if you don't make a sale, you're not out anything other than your own time if you're using Square. But if you do keep with Square and do that free website, or even if you do pay for a more professional website through them and your own domain name and all of that, yep, you're on your own for marketing. It can.
Is there a limit as to how many things you can put on for free?
I don't think so. I have like 70 some things on there right now, and yeah, no, I don't think so. When we first looked into it, I don't remember seeing any limits. Like for the gift shop, when we first transferred things over, when we first attempted to combine the two, we had like 3,000 items that transferred over. And it's like, oh goodness, we don't want all of these online. And so we kind of abandoned that and regrouped. But yeah, there was no, there are paid versions of Square to do more things. But the free one, I haven't seen anything that has a limit. That would be an easy thing to just Google and search too. Good question. Anything else? Well, hopefully that was somewhat helpful. I know it was a lot in kind of a breeze over of all of it, and a little more challenging, not in the same room as everybody, but it's great we can make all this technology work for our benefit, and hopefully you all do some online sales and expand your where people can buy your art. It is a great tool. It's a great way to get started, and then you can always expand from there. It's a great way to kind of learn and trial and error. So.
Yeah, well, thanks so much, Jennifer. Really appreciate you sharing your knowledge on this. Just to wrap us up here, I wanted to share a couple of things. So it looks like most, if not all of you, are members of River Arts Alliance already, which is great. Just in case anyone is not, I'm going to pop the link in here to our website where you can find out a little more about membership if you're interested. Some of the benefits of that we offer for artist members. Art supporters are welcome to members as well, but we offer a gallery page on our website for artist members, as well as the opportunity to advertise your events and things you have going on in our newsletter and website. So feel free to check that out if you happen to not be a member already. Also, I will send a follow-up email later this week after this with the recording for tonight if you'd like to go back and watch anything. Also, you can keep an eye on our newsletter or website or Facebook for upcoming workshops. We're just working on getting the details and the registrations finalized for those. Let's see, Jennifer, is it okay if I share your email with folks in that follow-up email too, if they just thought of any other questions to get back to you about?
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll do that too. Oh, and then I'll probably also put together just a real quick evaluation form, 2 or 3 questions about this workshop. Would love to hear your feedback on this. Any thoughts about future, information or programs like this that might be helpful for you as an artist in the area too. So if you have a few minutes to fill that out, that would be great as well. So keep an eye on your inbox, and also feel free to get in touch with me if you have any other questions after this too. All right, have a good night, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Thanks.